My wife and I met in the military, and yes, we had our fair share of differences and a spell with adultery, but the two of us worked it out and moved past it. In fact, the only reason why I mention it is because since we have started telling our stories to the Bigfoot community, the rumors go out that my wife cheated on me, and people seem to think it's some kind of leverage against me. So let me be clear. She cheated, I found out, she broke it off, and we are still married. That was 15 years ago, but you know how the Bigfoot Mafia can be. They love to search into the private lives of others while staying anonymous. Anyway, when we came out of the service, we bought a plot of land that backs up to the Alabama River in Benton, Alabama. Not with both of us having military backgrounds, the idea of being in the woods was no problem for us. So we built our home there, and the distance to the river from our house was about 1 mile as the crow flies. Well, we got the house built, moved in, and my wife wanted to get some dogs, so we got 2 Belgian Malinois. Now, if you know anything about these dogs, they are basically the velociraptors of the canine world. They came to us trained, and we went through the process of getting to know them, and all was good for the first 18 months we were on the property. Then winter rolled around, and the dogs started to pace around the house at night. Then that escalated to them coming into our bedroom and sitting at the foot of the bed, watching the window at 3 a.m. They never barked, they just sat there at the window. This behavior goes on for a solid week, and then it stops. Well, one evening my wife and I decided we are going to walk down to the river and hang out. So we take the dogs with us and cut through the woods. The moment we get into the woods, the 2 of them stick to her side, 1 on each leg, darn near to the point where she is having trouble walking. We get down to the river, and they seem to relax and get playful. A few hours pass, and it's time to head back to the house. The sun is going down, and as we walk into the woods, they are jumpy. Now, to be clear, it takes a lot to make these dogs jumpy or skittish at all, but they are, and it's worrying me. It was then, as we walked through the woods with the sun almost down, that I realized there was more to these woods than I understood, because we are walking along and you hear this grunt, and then a heavy breath like something was right next to us. However, the trees and brush were so thick I could not see. Seconds later, it does it again, and my wife takes off running to the house, dogs following along with her. It was in that moment that I decided to chase after her. But listen, my wife has wheels. She is moving. I'm trying to close in on her when the next thing I know, I see her feet go flaring up into the air. The dogs come to a stop and make a sharp left and lunge into the air and attack something that was behind a tree. Now stop right here and let me say this. I could not see what happened. The reason was she was basically clotheslined. However, what I did see with my own 2 eyes was my dogs attacking a Bigfoot. They jump on this thing's back, and it looked like a giant man in a ghillie suit, to be honest. Like Shaquille O'Neal was in my backyard playing games covered in fur and leaves. Well, my wife gets back up and takes off running again just as I'm getting to her. Now mind you, there is a trail that leads back up to the house. Now she has darted off the trail and is moving through the woods. The dogs are still going crazy, and she is running at speed. By the time I get through the woods and back to the house, she is coming out the door with a rifle, and she is pissed. That is when my wife tells me that something clotheslined her while she was running, hand right across the collarbone. I'm trying to calm her down, and she ain't having it at all. She wanted to go back for the dogs. I'm telling her, give me the rifle, and I will go back. So she hands it over, and I go back into the woods looking for the dogs. Now, remember I told you these dogs are like mini velociraptors. Well, I get back to the area, and one of them is up in a tree sitting there looking around, and the other one is hiding in some brush. No sooner than I get to the area, they physically start to push me out of the woods, one guarding my back. We didn't know then that Bigfoot migrated along that waterway, however. Now we understand to just stay out of their way.